Hi, I'm Santhi Pinkerton with Elk Grove Unified and in Communications. And today with us, we have our Q&A interview with three great people from our district. This is part of our EGU News series. And today is, because EGU News is focused on healthy bodies, healthy learning, and healthy minds, we brought together these three individuals so that we could talk about wellness in general. So with us today is Kim Rawson. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
She's our lead mental health therapist. And then also with this is Johnny Waregi. Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
And he is a principal at Casunas Oaks High School. And then also with us is Bree Bahar. Hi, Bree.
Hi.
She's a principal at Catherine Albioni Middle School. So today's topic, and thank you all for being here, we're going to talk about student wellness. And during this time of a pandemic, a global pandemic, doing distance learning and all of these things, we would like to get your perspective not only on just kind of what students are facing right now, but then also some resources that we can offer them at the same time. So Kim, let's just start with you. What do you see overall that's happening in terms of why we need to address wellness for our students?
You know, more than ever, it is really critical. And I think just as families and students navigate the stressors and adjustments related to the pandemic and COVID-19. And there is a lot of anxiety for students as they're trying to access their education from home, and even for the caregiver and family members as they kind of attempt to take on a new role to support their kids.
Okay.
So a lot of, I think, just questions around how to provide a schedule predictability for their kids so they can better access their academics.
Okay, thank you. Johnny?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely an issue right now of online bullying. A lot of things going on right now. Now that we're all in a virtual world, things going on maybe on Instagram. New things I'm learning about called like Discord server, where there's a lot of communication going on with kids in this virtual platform, virtual world, but definitely issues of potential bullying. We've seen a lot more of that as well during this time.
Okay, Bree?
I would say I agree absolutely with Johnny about bullying. And then for the middle school level, just the isolation. It's such a, not that high school isn't, but middle school is such a social time. Students have gone from one class in elementary school, and they are missing being with others, and they're really looking for connection. And so that seems to be an issue at the middle school level.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can find out what resources we have here, and you can each kind of chime in terms of how those resources are accessed, what they're for, is what they are, and what they're for. So, Bree, one of the things that we implemented a couple of years ago was an incident reporting system, and it's you go in there, you see it on the websites, on the school's websites, and even on the district website, where it says incident reporting system. Once you click in there, then a student or even a parent or somebody in the community can actually go in there, and it's called CATAPULT EMS, and they can make a report. What kinds of reports do you see students or people accessing or trying to go in there to do, et cetera? And first of all, what is CATAPULT?
So, Zanthi, you pointed out exactly what it was. It's an online incident reporting system. It can be anonymous. If somebody is uncomfortable with leaving their name, they can remain anonymous. But it's a way for people, whether they're on campus or away from campus, where they're able to report if they see something, they can say something about it.
Okay. Now, Johnny, this is one method of reporting. Normally would students come into the office and report something, or do you feel like this is a great tool so they don't have to come into the office? And even more so now during distance learning, when you were talking, both of you were talking about bullying sort of being on the rise. Are you seeing that this tool is an important tool for students to use?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, when during a regular year, definitely a very important platform, especially nights and weekends when someone needs to reach out, right, and report something. but even now more during this time with distance learning, it's very important that that parents, that students, and even our staff have that ability to just connect, you know, especially with urgent things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very important.
Awesome. Okay, very good. Thank you. We talked a little bit about where it was on the websites. Johnny and Bree, Johnny, we'll start with you. Can you tell me where students can find Catapult at least at your school site?
Yeah, so Catapult, the incident reporting platform, can be accessed on our school website. You go there right to the home page, and it's right there. It's one of the tabs at the very top. It's also included now in our weekly newsletter. So there are two different ways to connect to the Catapult system.
Okay, Bree?
Yeah, exactly. I think all the schools' websites have it in the same location. So for ease of access, it's just one of the tabs out the right underneath the school address and phone number. And it like you said, when you click on it, it takes you directly to something that's called Catapult EMS. Again, on the school websites, it's called incident reporting, just so that people are aware of exactly what it is that they're looking for.
Sure, sure. And I think on the district's websites, it falls under the safety area under about the district, and you can find information of what, safety measures, and you can find the incident reporting system there, and even somebody from the community can go in there and actually put the information in as well. Okay. Now, one of the questions is what information can be put in? I think there's 4 or 5 categories that can be entered in there. So Bree, could you give us a highlight of what people would enter?
Absolutely. And I wanted to go back to, I said that it can be anonymous, but people can also put their names in so that if they have more information, they can also add a phone number. There's another piece where they're able to enable two-way communication. So even if they still want to remain anonymous, whoever receives the report can then communicate back in an anonymous fashion to get some more details. As Johnny pointed out, bullying is one of the categories that you can select. So it asks, what kind of an incident are you trying to report? So it can be bullying, damage or harm to school property, discrimination or harassment, and then harm to self or others. Those are the 4 categories. I think the first time when you click on it, it asks for the language you'd like to proceed with, and then it goes to those categories where you can choose what type of report you'd like to make.
Okay, very good. Johnny, then the other things, what kind of reports are you seeing in there? I mean, currently, I think through the years it sort of changes based on the environment students are in. So, given this environment now, what kinds of reports are you seeing?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, definitely things of the bullying nature online. Again, in this virtual world, communication that's not so positive is happening, and just on different social platforms, not necessarily connected to the school. And so, students and parents, they feel like, what, this is an ongoing bullying issue, maybe with another student at the school. Let's report it. And so we're seeing some things regarding bullying, online bullying, as well as, unfortunately, potential for self-harm or even harm to others. That's also been reported recently as well.
Right, and real quickly, Bree, too, what's the follow-up about what could a person, especially if at least they're identified, it's more difficult when they're anonymous, but what could a person expect in terms of follow-up?
So as you just said, you pointed out, it depends on if they've enabled the two-way communication and if they've left contact information. So we will always reply, usually thanking them for making the report and seeing if we need any more details, maybe some other students or community members that may have been witness to something. And when the report's made, a text message and an email go out to the entire admin team. Mm-hmm. And then like Johnny was talking about, especially when we have got the harm to self or others, those, because they are an imminent danger, those also go to police services. And so there's a wide net that's cast to make sure that students are getting the help that they need. And again, when we know who we're talking to or talking about, we're able to reach out and communicate with whoever reports to make sure that they're okay. And then sometimes it's also not just checking on the person who reported, but the other students involved to make sure that they're also doing okay in regards to whatever the incident may be.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, Kim, I didn't want to leave you out of this conversation completely with Catapult, but how? So, Kim, I want to get your perspective in terms of the reporting nature. Why this is an important aspect of mental health. Just to be able to report something and then know that it's going to be followed up. How do you see that in a role playing in from your perspective?
Absolutely, and it's great to hear, as Bree was saying, and that there is so much isolation that is happening. So the lack of support for so many are out there. And so it is just a guaranteed way now in distance learning because they're not in our hallways and classrooms. We can't meet with them. We can't get like a feel for what's going on for them. So it becomes really the ensured way that we're able to go out and just make sure that they are safe. And if needed, also more than just connecting with them, letting them know that there are resources that are available. So whatever we can do right now in distance learning to stay connected to, like our community of schools.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you all for that. So we're going to transition a little bit to talking about Care Solace. That's something that's new. And so, Kim, could you tell us a little bit about what Care Solace is?
Absolutely. Care Solace is an online database, and their sole purpose is to connect students, families, staff members to mental health supports. And primarily the mental health supports are therapists, so psychotherapists. And Care Solace, their emphasis is on counseling supports K through 12 and higher education. But as we say that, it includes the staff members at schools that provide support. So it's available for staff as well as families of the students. And it's something that we have partnered Elk Grove Unified with Care Solace starting last February.
Okay. So Care Solace sounds like a really valuable resource as well for not just only parents or students, it's also for families and staff.
Absolutely.
Huge. So what distinguishes Care Solace from other counseling referrals provided by the district?
Well, one is that their focus is they actually have partnerships with public schools. So the example of a partnership with Elk Grove Unified. And as a result, we have direct contact with Care Solace and can give input on what the needs are. I think specific cultural issues around our community. And so in addition to that, Care Solace has a 24/7 concierge. So whether it be a family member or a staff member, you can call them and they can get back to you, or you can email them and they get back to you within an hour. And also what makes them unique is that their vetting process, they have done all the background checks on behalf of the consumer. So looking at someone's license and background and ensuring that the person who is providing any kind of clinical support to a student or family or staff member have been licensed a minimum of 3 years. And they also regularly check to ensure that the provider list is updated. So I think how often do we maybe even in our own private health insurance, you are given a provider list and you're not getting any calls back, any emails, the voicemails are full. So what they do is they do all the footwork on behalf of a student, family, or a staff member. And they will go so far as to schedule the appointment on your behalf. And if you are looking for evenings, if you're looking for a female therapist, so you can be very specific as far as what the needs are. And they don't assess, but what they do is gather all the information on behalf of the student and family or staff member, and then go and do all the footwork on your behalf.
Wonderful. So Johnny and Bree, and this will also for Kim too, in your perspectives and in your worlds, how do you see these tools between Care Solace and Catapult coming into play? Do you know of like scenarios that you might be able to share out where you've seen these tools being accessed and have come around to really show that they've helped. So we'll start with Johnny.
Yeah, I think right now during this time, I think the CATAPULT incident reporting system and Care Solace are absolutely appropriate right now. You know, they're easy and easy to access online for all the school communities. You know, whether you're a student, parent, or even staff member, I think it's very easy to connect to both platforms. I would say, for Care Solace, I know we have a strong counseling team at our school, and they've made referrals. They have connected families to that as an online resource. And I think in terms of just the current climate of what's going on, I think it is related to family issues, related to social emotional stress going on right now, and definitely depression. Those have been some of the things we have noticed.
Okay, Bree, what are you seeing?
Well, I think that the 24/7 access is the key there. It's not worrying about if somebody's going to see an email, if they happen to check their email inbox. Again, for the online incident reporting for CATAPULT, all the administrators immediately get a text message, and most people are right by their phones, even if they're not checking their email. That text message is an alert. So knowing that you can report something as soon as it happens or as soon as you're ready to report it, and then on the other end from Care Solace with getting connected with caregivers, knowing that no matter what time of the day it is, again, you don't have to wait for the school office hours, that you can at least talk to somebody who's going to help you get to your next step. I think that's a really big part.
Awesome. Kim, what are you seeing in the scenarios that are out there, and how valuable has this been?
Yeah, and so kind of singing to what they both had just said, really having immediate support right now is so critical. And we've already had wellness providers as well as admin and teachers utilize Care Solace. And so it is great. And even with the online platform, there is what's called Care Loop. And it becomes a way for like counseling providers and wellness providers to be able to communicate if the family gives permission. So we can in real time see like, oh, so-and-so has an appointment with their therapist on October 6th, or 3 phone calls have been attempted. So it's nice, I think, often right now the communication piece is so difficult, and it's a way where it helps the line of communication stay open, and there is a lack of confusion, because anything that's going to the family is going to the staff member. And I love with CATAPULT, so if there are concerns, often I could see that would be maybe where a referral would come from and go to Care Solace.
Okay, awesome. So could you tell us where can we find Care Solace?
Yes, you can find Care Solace on our district website, but also you can find Care Solace right now. We have our PBIS and education-based counseling staff guide during distance learning, and we have that in the individual counseling chapter as well as the crisis support. And even in our annual suicide prevention and awareness training, what we did was we highly encouraged all staff members to print out the resource page as well as the steps to take in case there is a student that is in crisis. So we have 3 different ways in which Care Solace is available for all staff members and for families.
Okay, so I just want to thank all 3 of you for being here today for our Q&A interview session talking about wellness, where we were able to go over CATAPULT, which is the incident reporting system that's online and available for students and community and even parents, and also Care Solace, another resource. So 2 really important resources that are easily accessible online through either our district or through a school site or through some information communication that we put out, that is proving to really be very helpful and supportive for all of our learning community that we have, whether you're a staff member, a student, a parent, or a family member of a student. So again, so Kim, thank you for being here. Johnny, thank you for being here. And Bree, appreciate you being here as well. You all have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.